meeting of the Westmoreland Council together is November the 19th, 2020, and it's 7 o'clock p.m. Councilman Bennell, I think you're going to do our devotion, is that correct?
Yes, let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we recognize you as the one that cares for us, loves us so much, provided Jesus Christ to be the sacrifice for our sins. We're so thankful for that. We pray, Father, that you would bless America. I don't have to tell you we're in a mess. So we pray that cooler heads may prevail and the right thing will be done, and you can be in the midst of all of them. Bless each one that has come here tonight. Bless their homes. Bless our business, that we would carry it out in a way that would be good for the city. And Father, so many people are getting COVID. We pray, God, that you be with them, let them get the right, proper care, and we pray this thing would come to a close before long. So bless our city, bless everybody here tonight, and God bless America. I just name we pray.
Amen.
Would you please stand for the pledge to flag? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Travis, you'll call the roll, please.
Tommy Bennell.
Present.
Doug Brown.
Here.
Rudy Carter. Here. Jerry Kirkman.
Here.
David Lee.
Here.
Pedro Wilkerson. Here.
With roll call, all council members are present, and we have a quorum, so we can proceed with the meeting as scheduled. The first item is to adopt the agenda.
I move we adopt the agenda.
Have a motion by Councilman Bendel and a second by Councilman Brown to adopt the agenda as written.
I need to make a amendment to the agenda, please.
Okay, so we're asking for an amendment. Go ahead, Councilman Lee.
To add to it, 37186 miles, event permit.
Is that all you have?
That's all I've got.
Yeah, I want to add one other thing. I want to add the county building code services, have a little discussion on that if we need to. I sent y'all an email, I think yesterday or today, on the little background on it.
Okay, for the purposes of amending the agenda, do I have a motion?
Yes.
Councilman, okay, do we have a second on the amendment?
You make the motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, Councilman Lee has the second. So this is the vote to amend the agenda. It takes 4 votes to do that. So Ms. Keisha, you'll call the roll.
Wilkerson.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Bennell.
Yes.
Okay, the amendment for the additions have been added. It passes. So now back to the normal agenda with the additions of 37186 miles and the building code services.
Is there a motion on the floor for that already? Yes.
We're kind of open for discussion at this point. Okay. Ms. Keisha, you'll call the roll.
Brown.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Bennell.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. We have an agenda to work with. Next item is public comments. I understand we have 2 or 3 folks that want to speak.
That's the first one in?
Did you ask?
Keona Moss.
First one in?
Okay, please. Keina. Does someone have a stopwatch? How long did we get? 30 minutes.
You
I'll
gonna do it?
raise my hand when it's over.
Okay, appreciate it. If you come forward, please, to the microphone, state your name.
Kiana Moss.
Okay, we're going to give you 3 minutes to state what you're going to talk about that's on the agenda tonight for the council.
Okay, my only concern with, one of the items on there is the hiring back of Amanda Wolf. Over the summer, she was inside the Dollar General talking with a young man. I had no idea who the man was. And I overheard the conversation as I'm coming down the aisle. And she says, if I can get his address, can you go finish what I started, or what I done? That was a pretty good gap in time from when it happened to when that conversation with that individual occurred. My concern is her harboring ill will and bad feelings towards that man.
Anything else? Thank you for coming tonight. Ms. Felicia Head.
I first want to say thank you for listening to me tonight and giving me this opportunity. I first want to say, when I speak about Amanda Wolf tonight, there's no ill will toward Miss Amanda. I've even told her that it's not personal, it's business. And she said she understood that. So, first of all, I want to talk about our local paper. It addressed several things about Amanda last week that was kind of concerning to me that I did not know. So when I read a part of it, it's from our local paper from Westmoreland. One part of it says that Wolf is headed to court at the end of November to ask for her charges to be expunged. My question to the council is tonight, how are you going to vote to allow her to go back into the police department when her record has not been expunged yet? That was part of her plea deal. So I didn't know that. I thought that was already taken care of. On down in the paper, it said, Jolly said, I feel like that if the city does not allow her to come back as a law enforcement, her career is probably over. My question is, does the city of Westmoreland have the funds if something else did happen? I don't think we have the money to back her up if something else happened and we had to go to court or she had to go to court. That's my concern there. And not only mine, let me say this. Many citizens have reached out to me by email, text messages, phone calls, and I had to let them know there's nothing, I have nothing to say about this, except I can voice their opinion or how they feel, because I'm not on the council yet. They were thinking that I was already going to be the one voting on this, and I had to let them know I'm not sworn in until December the 1st. So if our chief or anyone else feels the way that if we don't give her her job as a police officer, her career is over, my question is, why are we taking the chance? Why can't Miss Amanda go to Macon County, Portland, Gallatin, and try to pursue her career there? Why does Westmoreland have to be the one? I feel like Westmoreland has stuck their neck out and made a position for Miss Amanda as animal control codes. That's the way I feel about that. The other thing, if a Miss Amanda does not go back as a police officer, I feel like she needs to fill all of her job titles as codes. Her one job title in codes was to work at City Hall. She doesn't work at City Hall. The other one was, I don't think it was put in there about her getting her degree or requirements, certificates to be able to be codes. If we're going to continue to pay somebody to do codes, they need to be educated on it. We don't need to continue to go to Gallatin for help on that. Okay, now money. I see that we're giving out raises. Our budget is tight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ed. Next is Mrs. Caroline Moss. We'll turn it up.
Sorry there.
Okay, you have 3 minutes to let the council know what you have on your mind about what's on the agenda tonight.
I'm a little concerned about y'all hiring Amanda Wolfpack. A lot of y'all know the history that I've had here with the police department, and I have given the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, and people do make mistakes, and I do understand that. But she is a liability. And when stuff happened to my family back when Katie was 15 years old, this town never embraced us. They fired her, he resigned. He didn't get fired. I had to press the issue. Y'all, I really think you're making a serious mistake if you hire her back. Because she walks around town, she drives around town, she thinks she's everything. And and I support the police department. I will support anything. But I have not come to any of these council meetings because I can watch them online. And when people come up here and speak, 90% of the time y'all don't listen. But I'm here to speak and tell y'all, I think you're making a terrible mistake hiring her back. And that's all I have to say about it. Any questions?
Thank you for coming tonight. That concludes the names on our list for public comments. The next item is the minutes from the October 15, 2020 meeting.
I make a motion to pass the October 15, 2020 minutes as written.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Carter, a second by Councilwoman Wilkerson to accept the minutes of the October 15, 2020 meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. The next item is the minutes from the November 5th, 2020 special call meeting.
I move we adopt the minutes from November 5th.
Have a motion by Councilman Bentel, a second by Councilman Lee to accept the minutes as read. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously for the November 5th, 2020 meeting minutes. Next item on the agenda is the October 2020 financial statement.
I make a motion to accept the October 2020 financial statement.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Leaf, a second by Councilman Brown to accept the October 2020 financial statement. We are open for discussion.
Keisha, did you ever find out what happened to the gasoline tax under state street aid? Why it wasn't recorded as a revenue?
The check was cut on that on October the 30th, and so I'm guessing it just didn't get posted into the computer until the following week, which would have been in November.
How much was it, do you know?
I do not remember off the top of my head. But I mean, it was close to what we normally get on that. But I can get that number to you in the morning if you'd like it.
That's okay. Was it in the 6,000
It was, yes,
range?
it was in the $6,000 range.
So our total revenue would be higher, making our ending balance not negative, right?
Yes, ma'am. We'll do about 4,000 in the positive.
That's why it's critical to get it in the proper amount.
Other items? underwater in the sewer, I noticed that our, the sewer pumps that we replaced, not the big force main pump that we paid about $35,000 for, all of those other vacuum pumps that went out, and we lost several of them, just bam, 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 all got taken out of the pump line instead of out of the repair line for the collection system. So that is why that pump line is over. We haven't spent that much on it. That line was placed in for the big force main pump that we buy. So that's just a little oversight. It's not a big deal because it's all coming out of that same fund, but I just thought I'd point that out.
Do you want us to move that to a different line item?
It would probably be good,
Okay.
but you know, if that's something that you don't get around to, that's not a big important issue in the scheme of things.
And also under water, on 262, under main and repair lines, the 42,000 there is actually for the pumping station road project, and it was in last year's budget, but and we didn't get the job completed before then, so it didn't get moved forward to this year's budget. So that's part of the budget amendment is to bring that money forward and move that to the proper line item.
So you will reduce that repair and maintenance line when
Right.
you get the amendment in for the...
Yes.
Mayor, was you talking about line 947 under sewer? That 11,000, is that what you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Down right underneath that, the line item 988, the CDBG grant match that we didn't get, was that money designated for anything after the fact?
It was not designated, but it needs to go back into the reserve to help with your depreciation costs. But it's there, and one thing it gives us is a little bit of cushion if we lose many more of those pumps. Of course, hopefully Aaron has found out the problem as to why we're losing those, and that's been corrected. So
That's what I was thinking about, the pumps, because they are high ticket items.
Okay, and where did you say to move that 947 to?
just the reserve for depreciation.
So that's for 988.
Oh, what?
For the pump,
Just repair for the,
the plant, or the?
no, it's actually the collection system.
Okay.
Yeah, all those pumps are part of the collection.
That would be for lines or for plant?
It'd be for lines.
Yeah.
It's not plant.
265.
Okay.
Anything else? When you're ready, Ms. Kraft, you'll call the roll.
Wilkerson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Carter?
Yes.
Biddle?
Yes.
Let the record show that the motion carries unanimously. We move now into old business. The first item up is second reading of ordinance 09-2020-1, the city code amendment of Councilman Bill brought that. That is pretty much our junk car ordinance, correct?
Correct. Now I move we pass the ordinance 09-2020-1. Mr. Bradley has been over it, actually retyped it, and it should be good to go.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilman Benkel, a second by Councilman Lee to accept and pass on second reading ordinance 09-2020-1, the city code amendment for junk car ordinance. We're open for any discussion on it. When will this be taking effect, Mr. Chairman?
Well, that's on section 5, so we can add that, this ordinance shall become effective at the earliest date allowed by law.
That being,
So I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what, if you want to put a date in there like 1/1/21, that would be fine with me. And even at that, they don't have time to work with the codes person to get something moved. It's not a drop dead type thing.
okay. So 1/1/20.
Well, that's just, I throw that on the table. I'd like to get others into it. If you want to push it back a little bit, we can, or are you okay with that?
Council members?
What's the date, that the citizen has to remove the vehicle? What was the timeline?
10 days. I think actually, I believe it is 10 days for them to ask for a hearing, or 10 additional days once for a hearing. I'm not sure if that's a hearing before the council or a hearing before the judge. Mr. Mills, could you refresh us on it?
Well, when you start trying to find this stuff quickly, it escapes you.
That's the reason I was hoping you know exactly what, where it was. Reason I'm asking, we've got one over in the edge of Wagner's Way that I'm ready to go to work on tomorrow.
Under 13-304 enforcement, doesn't that take care of it? Police officer who witnesses the violation may issue a offender a citation. It says municipal courts may issue orders to remove vehicles from private property.
I'm not sure that our court, Chief, do you know if they have the authority to even do that or not?
I'm not, it's not really a credit, it's more of a civil matter, so I'm not sure that they do.
I also want to point out that it says the building inspector shall upon such a plan of any citizen. Is that having it right?
Where's that, Chandra?
In 13-304. Like the third line down.
Yeah, I think that needs to be changed to officer of the city.
Yes.
Well, the first sentence reads, the codes employee is authorized to issue ordinance summons for violation of this ordinance on private property. What that says to me is that ordinance summons has to be issued to the property owner.
I don't think like this is gonna say police officer.
That's,
Be done with it.
Anyone can issue
Anyone can
a
issue.
summons to go to court.
Yeah.
But some of those matters just can't, an officer can't make a physical custodial arrest on a civil matter.
Right.
So you're saying in the second sentence it ought to say police officer instead of building inspector? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, honestly, I think this is totally out of the building inspector's hands.
We discussed that, was that
Yeah,
the discussion on this, that we were talking about the difference?
And I say take that immediately before y'all sign it. I think
Works for me.
He's got one he wants to do tomorrow, so
well, it needs
I'm
to be
okay with
done.
that.
It's been there for a year and a half.
Yeah, it needs to go.
Where's it at?
In Wagner's Way.
Oh, yeah.
I've been there.
In that little around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I bet the city's got 150 calls on that car in the last year and a half.
the police officer shall investigate, if we change that to police officer, investigate complaints of junk cars on private property. if after such investigation, the codes employee finds a junk car, vehicle on private property, he shall issue an ordinance summons.
We're bouncing back and forth between code employee and police officer.
Uh-huh.
Where are you reading that?
I'm still under 304.
She's just continuing reading them down and bouncing back to code employee.
It all needs to be
Okay,
the
goes down
same.
there, it says police officer who witnessed it.
And, yeah, then it comes back to police officer, it's going back and forth.
Where
But the
that
codes
says
employee
employee.
bring it to the police officer's attention,
That-
let him
that-
take it.
The codes employee can actually write any kind, can do the investigation, can write the summons to court or any of that, but so can a police officer.
So could we,
That would be more how you all would rather it be handled.
Well, right now, I'm kind of going on the consensus that we may not have a codes employee, so.
everything could change to police officer then now?
I think change everything to police officer.
I think that'd be the best.
Because if you eventually have a full-time codes person, then chances are they're going to be, they'll at least be under the police department umbrella if they're not a full-fledged certified officer to
Yes,
serve.
sir.
So everywhere in this where it says building inspector or codes, we're going to amend it to say police officer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and effect will be as soon as it's signed.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we, it doesn't mention the timeline given to the owner of the junk car. What it says is after such investigation, police officer finds a junk vehicle on private property, he shall issue an ordinance summons, and then that ordinance summons shall be served upon the owner or owners of the property, or upon the person or persons present in lawful possession of the property, and shall give notice to the same to appear and answer the charges against him or her. I wonder if wouldn't it be better to have a timeline in there to have a warning prior to issuing an ordinance for an individual to remove the said vehicle?
I agree. 10-day notice by registered mail would be a good first attempt with things. And let me throw this out, what prompts that. In my utility commission classes yesterday, the legislature has now passed that, like on our water bills, it gives the date on it that water service will terminate if the bill has not been paid. That is no longer useful. Starting now, you have to give, I think it's an actual 5-day mail notice before you can shut the water off. So that is something that we're going to have to start asking, put it in our new policy, and we're going to have to get letters printed and be ready to mail those. So it says 5 days, so this ordinance used to say 20 days, and it got reduced to 10. Under section 1 there, it says changing the number from 20 with the number to 10. So I think a 10-day written notice to the property owner that a summons or citation is going to be issued would be a good thing.
Would it be certified mail, is that what you said?
It would be best to be certified, that way you know who received it. And, you know, a lot of folks used to wouldn't receive certified mail because they thought it was a court summons. And I don't know how the judges used to handle that in criminal court, because that's how they summoned jury duty, was by certified mail.
We're just going to tack that on at the end of the enforcement. The 10-day notice.
Actually, I think it needs to be more at the beginning of it.
That's section 1, probably. Reckon?
Yes, probably does.
What does that time period speak to in section 1?
Of course, they,
Yeah, the certain time period, it says with the number, so I know we're changing from 20 to 10 regarding certain time periods.
Now, if you don't think 10 is enough, now is the time to speak up and change that.
Well, that's referring to section 109 and 110,
correct.
but I don't know if that applies to
Oh, okay.
correct.
We don't have 109 and 110 in this part.
Right, it just mentions it in that sentence.
That was the one that was requested to be added in by Ms. Ward. I guess we could put that in under the penalty for violations, that before a penalty for violation could be issued, a 10-day written notice served by certified mail to the property owner. I guess we're going for the property owner here and not the car owner, correct? In this situation, it's at Wagner's Way. One of the residents out there just pulled it out there and dumped it off on his neighbor.
That's what the property owner, like,
And with some of the vehicles may not even be titled vehicles. They're junk.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to put it, under 112 there, but similar wording you said.
Has John, has he sent this to you, or is it all on his computer?
I think this one I have.
Okay. We can get together that, all of that in. I think it's the best place to put it.
Under section, we thought still in section
13,
13,
304.
304.
13-112, before any summons can be issued or violation, 10-day written notice sent by certified mail to the property owner.
Number 13-112.
Okay.
So you need a motion to amend this, Mr. Mayor?
No, we're on second reading, so we can make any
Okay.
changes if we want to, and we're changing all those from building inspector to police officer.
And effective when it's signed. Last page.
Okay, any other discussion?
On 13-304, if we're adding the 10-day written notice warning, I think it needs to be also added after the second paragraph, or not, I'm sorry, the one, to the third sentence, in where it says, if after such investigation finds police officer finds a junk vehicle on private property, a 10-day written notice, that's where that should also go in. Because it conflicts with itself if we don't add that that verbiage there.
Good catch.
I agree.
Good catch.
And it says he shall issue an ordinance summons, but we just said we're gonna give them 10-day notice, so then it could go on to say, after 10 days, and this, I think this needs to be business days.
That works.
After 10 business days, if property owner has not resolved the issue of the junk vehicle, then an ordinance summons shall be served upon the owner or owners of the property or upon the person or persons apparently in lawful possession of the property.
Well, then it's something need to be added to the next section, penalties and violations, because that's what 112 was, and that's what replaced it for.
Say that again, Shannon.
We had done 13-112 on the very first page, penalties of violations, we had added that sentence there too.
Right.
So that, well, right below 304 is 305, which is penalties of violations. Referring back to, I'm assuming, 304. This saying they will have, any person violating this chapter shall be subject to a civil penalty of $50 plus court costs for each separate violation disorder.
I think the two previous sentences would cover that, Shannon.
Okay, I'm just wanting to make sure that we're,
I think the violation will occur after said 10-day
Okay.
business day,
okay.
and that's my interpretation of it.
Okay, is there, does anyone have an ordinance that has all the complete verbiage for 13-109 and 13-110 from that first page? Where it says in the municipal code is being changed. We may not even have to put that, I guess we're gonna put this other under 13-112, so 109 and 110 will still stand as it is, correct?
I believe so.
And after their first appearance in court, then the officer can go back and cite each day after that, and it will be a separate violation, but we're not going to continue to give the 10-day notice after that. It will just mount up. So how do we say that in here to make it usable? That may be something we have to get Mr. Bradley back involved with to make sure we get the correct verbiage in it.
So you think section 3 is not clear enough? 13-105,
I think it's clear, but we know what we're talking about. If somebody picks this ordinance up and if they stop at City Hall next week and pick it up and want to make sure we're following the rules, or are we making it plain that, because we've just said we're going to give them a 10-day written notice, but if they don't get it after the first time, I want to make sure that they don't know, we're going to give them 50 written notices. When we're citing them for the next 50 times in court. Does that make sense? I guess we can try this and see if we get any kickback on it, we see what happens, and then reword it. But we can check with the attorney and see if there's anything that he wants to do additionally with it now that we've made this change. Any other discussion? Someone want to call for the question?
Question.
Ms. Keisha, if you'll call for vote. Roll, please.
Carter,
Yes.
Wilkerson. Yes. Brown,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Dale.
Yes.
Let the record reflect the second reading of ordinance 092020-1. It is now in the history books. It has passed unanimously. The next item, and hopefully this one can go just as easy, is for second reading of ordinance 010-2020-1, the solid waste ordinance. We've gotten a new copy every day for the past 2 or 3 days, and John brought us another new copy tonight, so do we want to vote on this tonight, or does that all need to be compiled and us know for sure what we have? There is a lot of blanks to be filled in if we go with one copy. So I'll wait and see if we get a motion, see how the motion goes and what happens.
Yeah, I move we pass ordinance 010-2020-1.
We have a motion by Councilman Bennell. Do we have a second?
I'll say it.
Councilman Lee provides the second. This is second reading of ordinance 010-2020-1, the solid waste ordinance that we have. Take it away.
Okay, Mr. Bradley and his guerrilla warfare tonight when he hit and run. One of the versions had a transition plan Aaron had in there. It was on the first page. And that's where we want to fill in some numbers. He said that transition plan should be put at the end of this, right after 17-25.
On his copy?
Okay. Right. So I guess we need to talk through that transition plan. Aaron, if we want to, you want to kind of help us walk through that, fill in the blanks?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if y'all have a copy of that. Do you have the transition plan? One of the, y'all have that?
That was in your packet.
It's in your packet?
That part was, yes, this. And then this is what Mr. Bradley brought tonight. You have a copy of it?
I think he said, only thing he changed was, which she's already changed it, where it was talking about the offense. Mr. Menier versus offense, right?
Misdemeanor to offense,
Yeah. I think that was the only thing he had changed in this.
Got our 17-7.
Okay, let's just read through it and get some dates to go in. Everything in this ordinance will be effective January 1, 2021, except the 96-gallon trash can requirement, and the trash can pins would need to be removed from the property owner by December 31st, 2020. Are we okay so far? The trash cans will be phased in with everyone expected to have a can by. What's your first date to put in the blanks?
Well, I was thinking, like January 1st of 22 is what I was thinking. That would give us time, we'll have a new budget by then, and that would give time for cans to be purchased, sold, and not do it all at once. That was my opinion, but I'm open to suggestions.
Okay. This is your ordinance, and we're going to write it your way. It's just like Burger King. So the trash cans will be phased in, and everyone will be expected to have a can by January 1st, 2022. You can pre-purchase a can at City Hall at a cost of, and the prevailing rate right now is $60, but that's probably gonna change between now and then.
I think we just need to put in there at the prevailing rate.
Prevailing rate, very good. Payable to City Hall at, or the cost can be added to your water bill over how many months?
I got a question. Is that gonna be an issue? I heard something about the software would have to be amended, or do we need to get into that, or they just need to come to City Hall and pay over 4 months? I don't know the answer.
We haven't got our new software yet, so I don't know if it would have that capability or not.
And otherwise, if it doesn't, you'll have to manually keep up with it.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Which I'm sure we can do a spreadsheet for that.
Well, yeah.
800 names on the spreadsheet, or 800 addresses.
Well, it'd be nice if it was, if you could add it to the bill.
Right. And it may be able to, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
That would be ideal.
So how many months do we want to allow these folks? Because you know you have a lot of elderly, low, moderate income that even $10 a month is going to be an outrageous amount for them. So
With the prevailing rate, how much would it possibly fluctuate from 60 to
Well,
in a year's time?
right now, what I got today was 65, and so it just depends on the economy and how everything's going probably, and oil prices and everything else as well, because I would say it's a petroleum-based product. Just guessing.
If you divide that up by 12 months, it's $5.42. That we're tacking onto everybody's bill.
The ones that warned it that way.
Yeah, the ones that.
Yeah, those who opt to have it added to the water bill over X number of months. And 12 is a very low cost, but $5 is $5.
When you give them a big window, you give them a year.
Yes.
Like Doug said.
Well, what's gonna happen if we do give somebody, I mean, I'm just throwing a question out there. Give them 12 months to pay for it. And something happens that they up and move in 5 months and take the can with them.
Well, if they don't get the can until it's paid right there.
Right.
They don't get the can that's paid.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
So you may be doing a mass delivery on December 31st of 2021.
Big like Christmas.
I think 12 months is reasonable. Now, I mean, I'll look at $5 makes some people pay. There might be some that are still struggling, but I believe 12 months is a long period.
Want to put like 4 months unless other arrangements are made? Or is that, you want to be too confusing?
I mean, that would be probably more harder on them. That'd be a question for her, because it'd be great for me, because, you know, I think, you know, that'd be a good thing, but.
Well, all you're looking for is a receipt.
Right, exactly, that's what I'm saying, so it's,
Coming to you,
you know, they're the ones gonna have to deal with that part of
Well,
it.
they'd be getting their garbage, situation handled quicker than getting that can in 4 months versus 12 months.
Well, too, the ones that just pays for it up front, you can go ahead and issue their can, then they can start using it, right? But some people buy them now that use it, right?
Correct.
Okay. So it wouldn't be all delivered at one time. Unless everybody chose to spread out the payment.
What do we want, 4 months or 12 months?
Keisha, what's gonna be, I like the mayor's idea.
Yeah, you could.
You know, if we could, do the 4 months or set up a different plan, but I don't know how difficult it is, you know. that's the idea that I would go with, if it was me.
Well, if you don't do 4 months, that next sentence in parentheses is going to have to, because
I
it
think
states
that
4
was
months.
just a,
Okay.
that'll count.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the 4 months, unless, if they need longer, we can work something out.
We can order pecans in lots of 100, so we wait to get 100 orders and then order them. Once the entire amount is paid, a can be delivered to the resident until all residents have the 96-gallon can. Residents will be allowed no more than 5 bags of trash per week.
So, yeah, you said it right.
You need to add that in. More bags than this will be left. Is that how you want to handle it? Because the purpose of picking up the trash is so you don't have an unsanitary area. If you're going to drive off and leave it laying there, then what's going to be the consequences? Let's talk about that.
Can an extra charge be added to them if we pick up more trash that they're left?
What do you want to do? 6 to 10 bags would be an extra charge.
I mean, yeah, that'd be something we could do.
Now, does that mean they're gonna have to get out and for every resident that it's more than 5, they're gonna make a note somewhere and all of that, so.
It's gonna be,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the city's not doing its job if it drives off and leaves it laying there either, so.
Can we back up there? Until all residents have the 96-gallon can, residents will be allowed no more than 5 bags of trash. What is that saying? That's saying until all residents have the 96-gallon can.
Between now and December 1st, 2022.
and it also says in here,
So once all residents have 96-gallon cans, we can have more than 5 bags of trash?
It has to all fit in that can. It
How much
literally
you can
says
fit in
it
that
has to fit
can?
in the can.
And lid closed.
yeah, you can
If you
have
get 10 in it, then 10 what you
Whatever you get in there.
5 bags or up to 2 cans.
Right now, what we're trying to put a stop to is the fact that somebody puts out 20 bags of trash. And if that's all coming from one household, it's odd. I mean, it's like I was telling Aaron, we generate about 1 bag a week. I have neighbors that have 8 or 10 bags out. The more kids you have, the more you generate, the more that you order from Amazon, the more you generate. So what we're trying is we've talked about this for several years now, and like Aaron says, you pull up to one house, you've got 2 or 3 bags, and then you've got 20, and then the next one's probably got 20 or 25. And all the bags are different colors, so you're not even sure, chances are there's not that many residents that are using 3 different styles of bags. Most of my bags are all the same. I do have a lawn bag that I use about once every 3 months that I'll throw twigs and stuff in and put it in. But on the average, I'd say most people's bags and what they're thinking is we have a lot of people that are coming in that are dropping their trash off and driving right on out of town, but just leaving it there to be picked up. So hopefully that is going to stop some of it. But at the price that we pick up the trash for in this city, 5 bags is probably a very good limit. If you want to increase it to 6, then 6 is still not bad. If you stop somewhere and you've got 25 bags laying there, 6 is a piece of cake.
loose stuff on top of those bags also.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. I guess my thing is, you know, the 5 bags or 2 cans, you can have 2 cans, or 5 bags. And the reason why I did that is to, hopefully encourage people to go ahead and get the cans. But, like Jerry said, you know, if, you know, this is really not gonna stop anybody from having 20 bags. We're just saying that, you know, you can only have 5 bags, but if you still get 20 bags and I still gotta pick it up, you know, there needs to be some kind of consequence, I guess, which, you know, it does state in here that you can be cited or whatever later on, that if you're not, I guess, abiding by the rules or whatever. But, you know, I guess I need to know is if we pull up to a stop and it's got 20 bags, am I still gonna have to pick it up? You know, I see the point of, you know, you don't wanna leave it. That's kind of the whole point of doing this, is to not have trash everywhere.
What would be, how do you feel about if we had some sticky notes written that were like in a pad? It'd be nice if it was in carbonated, so you would have a copy and you could leave a copy for residents. My problem, just speaking personally, if you've got 2 or 3 houses in a row and they all pull them out there together, you don't really know which house or resident that might have generated the extra. But I'm thinking if you had like a note placard or something that had a sticky on it, you could tear it off, stick it to the door, stick it to the trash can.
Right.
That would say, we have picked up 16 bags this week, our limit is 5 or 6 or whatever, and to say if this continues, it will be added to your bill.
Okay, yeah. Something like
I
that.
mean, I think a whole lot, it won't take a whole lot that people are going to, in other words, we pass this as soon as it hits the front page of the paper, we're going to be getting a lot of calls about it. Council members probably going to be getting a lot of calls, so you might as well be ready for it, they're going to come. So, and people are usually pretty quiet until you hit their pocketbooks, and if you're going to hit their pocketbook, and in next year's sanitation budget, we're going to have to probably hit it and strengthen our fund because our enterprise fund is getting low on that. So we need to build it up just a little bit also. So we're going to be getting some people's attention during the next ever how many months that we put this in. But this has been several years coming and should have been done a long time ago, and I commend you, Aaron, for your work on it.
I think the door hangers is a good idea.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because we already have some for the water, and we could probably just write on the back of it for right now or something. And even I've got a box I can check on there that says other, and we can fill that out. But that's a good idea.
We got to set some kind of penalty out there for having way too much trash. Just this week, Tri-County come through there and told me, we don't cut your trees out there, your light bill's going to $5 charge for a tree. So I told the ribbon round to come down. So we've got to have some kind of consequence.
So is the public going to be, is there a certain way you're going to inform the public that this is coming? The requirements now, the 5 bags or 6 bags?
Yeah, I mean, I guess through the paper, Facebook.
I think it's going to have to be each individual house. If it's mailing a letter or the door hangers or, I mean, mailing the letter's going to be very expensive.
Is there something like we could do an attachment to the water bill or something? I don't know. I know that's a lot.
I don't think you can on that little card because we've got a special rate, and I'm afraid if you tamper with that, our rate was coming up.
Well, I mean, if we had to, I guess we could do flyers, you know, I could go
only thing you could do is when you mail, that would be difficult too. Put the card, the month that you're gonna mail it out, put the card in the envelope and with the letter in the same envelope. That way you wouldn't be paying postage and the water bill and then the postage to mail out what's coming in the letter.
Okay, but we would have to separate, because not everybody gets carded.
Right.
So, and the bills are printed in
Yeah,
book
that's right.
order.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. That won't work.
I mean, we could do something, we could either make a mail out, or we could go around and do, knock on doors and hand out flyers or whatever we have to do.
I don't think it'll be a problem getting the word out. We can put it in the newspaper. You have postage and mailing in your budget that we can do some of that with, and depending on when we send it out. But I think some of the door hangers that you were talking about, and I would actually get others that say sanitation department on it, so that people don't get it confused. If you use water, they're gonna drive them nuts. So,
Right.
But I think getting that out is probably one of the least of our worries. And as we start to talk about it, it's going to generate more talk. So other things in the ordinance that need to be changed.
Page 3, under the following is a list of substances which should not be placed as solid waste collected by the city. Number 5, human and animal excrement. I get the human part. Animal excrement, cat litter,
Yeah.
dog, I almost think that probably needs to be struck through and not put. That's my opinion. Because, I mean, if you pick up your dog's excrement, you're bagging it, and where else are you gonna put it?
Right.
And if you kitty litter, they're having a choice there, really.
Right.
You say just strike 5 totally.
Well, no, you need the human excrement part. That I think you might, you have diapers, how do you? I don't know, I get the point of that. How can we, I got an idea for that could be.
I mean, I think you could just strike it totally, because if you get these cans, they can be clipped.
Okay, we should be okay then. Okay.
My big thing when I put that in there was, we have some customers that dump their stuff, they'll put the bags in the cans and then they'll just dump the kitty litter on top of it. And I ain't sure that there's not a few of them that it's not theirs, not the cat's or the dog's.
I understand that. I do.
That's covered under number 8.
So we're okay with that transition plan? Maybe we come up with a violation penalty, but that would always be added in. If you look at 17-12B, I think Aaron had mentioned somewhere in our discussions, up to 7 bags of leaves may be placed in plastic bags at the curbside for collection. Is that what you agreed to?
Yes, 7 or 8, either one. I could have swore I had all that.
You did have
It was
the
in one
6 in
version.
there.
Was it 6?
Yeah. That's
In one versions it did. I'm
Right.
sure it's, that's many versions as
That's
we
a
have.
typo. Shannon had a typo.
Hey, I won't deny that.
What do you want there? You tell us. The leaves aren't
Is
heavy.
it what page is that on?
17-12.
Hey,
I think 8 bags is plenty.
Just add that.
And one of them that I looked at, because I really was looking for it, and it did state 6,
Yes, it says
it
something. I
says
know
6
it does.
I was
bags.
thinking 6.
It wasn't in that one part right there. There it is, on page 9, at the end of 1715. It
Yes,
says leaves shall be collected in a maximum of 6 bags per week.
yeah.
And I think it's also on page 8, under 17-12B.
Yeah, that's where I was talking. So what's that number need to be, 6? We don't.
Well, one place it said 6, so if we put
We
8
need
in one
a
place,
6.
we need to make it 6 to vote.
6.
6 is fine.
Okay.
I like the fact that you put a weight limit on it also.
Yeah, my guys did too. That was one of their big requests. They said, so when will the weight limit go into effect?
So you happy with what we got here? As far as you know?
As far as I can tell you.
I mean, the ordinance is a big document, for sure.
Yes, it is.
You've done a good job putting it together. You ready for the question?
How, I was gonna ask, how are you gonna make sure that folks get the notice to bring down their cardboard? Because Amazon's getting ready to expand and they're gonna get bigger and bigger, which means more and more for you.
I mean, I'm hoping that with the cans, you know, with this being the can limit, and the lid being closed, I'm hoping that they'll, which you know, there again, you can't take, and make sure that everybody thinks that everybody has common sense, but, I guess, maybe in the mail out or something that we do, we could put in there that when you start breaking your cardboard down, to place inside of the box or inside of the can, to make sure that it does fit in there with the lid closed.
Okay. Tony, in speaking to what your question was about what are we gonna do after the 5-bag limit, we can put an amount in there, or we can leave them a note as such. But if we tell them, look, if you're going to continue to do this, you need 2 cans, and you get all you can into 2 cans, and it's the same price. Otherwise, we're going to have to basically double your rate.
That's the way to go.
So where would be a good place to write that in?
Well, it needs to be in that section where it states the 5 bags, doesn't it?
Okay, we'll add it in there instead of saying that more bags will be left.
Yeah.
If you continue to violate, you'll be charged for two services.
I'm good with that change.
And does everybody have one, where 17-3 is, I just want to make sure that we all have the same one we're looking at. 17-3 is really short, it doesn't have the A and B, or 17-13, I'm sorry. It's just one single paragraph, it doesn't have A, B, C, D.
It should say, the very, very bottom should say 11/18/2020 is the version. Correct?
Yes. And then also 17-14 is a little different.
Okay, my version of 1713 has A and B in it, C and D.
That's the package version.
Okay,
Okay, again, after the packet.
okay.
Should be 170.
Yesterday.
Yeah, Johnny's version has all that in it too. so.
Okay, I don't have that. The package that you gave me today didn't have one in it, so.
I think we need to go with 11/18/20 version.
And it will probably have another date soon.
Okay.
It'll probably have another date on it, so.
I'll fold mine up and put it away then.
1714, did you mention that? Has it got A, B, C, D?
Yes.
It's okay.
A and 1714 on the updated version, the 1118 updated version. A is on there and it's, has changed from coal ashes is now B, and A is it is required that all residents that have Westmoreland water sewer services shall also have trash collection.
Anything else? Hearing none, Ms. Tisha, when you get ready, if you'll call the roll.
Carter,
Yes, with the corrections that was made.
Wilkerson. Yes. Fennel,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Lee.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a solid waste ordinance that we can work with. No
Not
doubt,
sure which version.
no doubt that it will be undergoing some changes and probably some revisions, but we're off and running once again there in good work.
Thank you, sir.
Hopefully make notes.
The motion carries unanimously. Next item is, should be a little simpler, it's the second reading of ordinance 011-2020-1, second reading of our budget amendment ordinance.
I make a motion to pass on second reading, ordinance 01-12-020-1.
I second that motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Leaf and a second by Councilwoman Carter to pass second reading of ordinance 011-2020-1 on the budget amendment. We're open for any discussion, and I will start it off by saying, Ms. Trout, excellent job.
Keisha, you want to go down and explain
Okay.
what each of it is?
The first one, transferring to the State Street aid, that's to make up for the paving, and that was voted and approved. The $6,000 for the salary for City Hall, that's to cover Adam Kelly, and that was also approved. The $28,000, that was just what was left over from the hall tax money, and we were just gonna stick it in the reserve account. The $26,000 for the purchase of the police car, and that was also approved. And so then it shows at the bottom that we were taking the $56,775 from fund balance, and then $63,300 was the state income tax money that was not budgeted for initially.
And on that 26,000 for the police vehicle, 14 of that we authorized up to 40,000 came from the police
Police car
fund.
fund.
Right.
Okay, yes, and that'll wipe that fund out. All right, and then so the State Street aid, that's the money for the paving, and then we had only budgeted, I think, around $500 for engineering services, and when they did that paving survey, it came in quite a bit higher than that. So we needed to put some money in there to cover that. And again, the money's from that's coming from general fund. And then under water sewer, that's the pumping station road line extension that was budgeted last year, but they didn't complete the project in time, and we need to carry it forward. So we're just moving that out of fund balance back into the budget to cover that payment.
While everyone is looking at that, I'll ask a question. Did you receive that email about the release of lane for Mofield Brothers?
Yes, so that was an additional $1,000 on that we're gonna have to pay out to them.
Okay, so we need to get that signed and taken care of there. Okay, questions on the budget amendment? This brings you up to date. There's been a lot of changes and money moved and used from the rainy day fund and fall income tax and COVID grant. So this gets us all up to date on it. And once again, Ms. Keisha has been working with Mr. Poole, and we will be getting some numbers probably in the next month and a half for the next council to be looking at the prior budget year. And be starting in January, looking at the 21-22 budget. So we'll be off and running once again. Any other comments on the budget amendment? Ms. Keisha, if you will call the roll.
Carter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Fennel,
Yes.
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously. We're going to continue just a little while before we take a break. I have some new business that we should be able to knock out pretty quick. We had a resident that came over from Moreland Circle that was asking that we put speed bumps on Moreland Circle to slow people down. TML suggested first thing was to lower the speed limit. After lowering the speed limit, then they suggested rumble strips. So we're going to take the process. The chief has stationed officers over there running radar. And everyone, obviously, they see the car sitting there, they drive 15 miles an hour and are perfect citizens, and we would expect nothing less from them. But according to the residents, people do speed through the neighborhood. So our insurance carrier has said that the first move we need to make is lower the speed limit. So I'm going to ask the city council to authorize that to be lowered to 10 miles an hour. If you want to put a time period on it, or if you want to make it a permanent change, I think that is a good place for us to start. We'll try that for a couple months and see how things are going, and then we'll move forward from that point. So I'm ready for a motion. Okay, looks like we're not going to receive a motion on that, so that dies. So we will leave that at 15 miles per hour, and we'll leave it up to the chief of police to take care of maintaining that area. Next item is the first reading of ordinance number 011-2020-2 to eliminate dumpster pickup. Mr. Bennell has brought that before us. We've discussed it for quite a while now, and I don't know if John gave you any more directions on it, but it seemed like it was good for a first reading for us to take off on it.
Well, compared to solid waste, this is a very short one. But you should have it in front of you, so I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 01-12020-2 on eliminating dumpster pickup.
There's a motion by Councilman Lee. Do I hear a second?
Councilman Bell.
Excuse me, Councilman Bell. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
There's Councilman Lee. Any discussion on this ordinance for first reading?
Well, I think we've listened to Aaron with the issues he has, and I think it's appropriate for the protection of our equipment, and it'd be more efficient. It's going to save some money in the long run, and we give a big window here for the for the businesses to start changing. So it's, again, I applaud Aaron on putting this together.
I'd like to see, in that very first paragraph, where it says, has determined that picking up dumpsters is a danger to the employees. Yes, leave that there. And then, put also cost effective too. Or some kind of wording that it's costing us money on the dumping fees and all.
It should cut that in half. Let's be optimistic. That's what Aaron thinks it is.
I don't know the exact proper wording, somebody else can work that if you want to do it.
And cost effective.
Okay. Dangerous to our employees and our equipment. And it's, does anyone have a better term for cost effective?
Should it be it's not cost effective?
Yes, it should be. Because cost effective is positive.
Right.
Okay. Not cost effective and a danger to our employees and our equipment.
There again, it can be changed to lower if you need to for second reading.
Okay. Any other comments? Ms. Stroud?
Wilkerson?
Yes.
Fennel?
Yes.
Carter?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 011-2020-2 has been accepted unanimously. The next item is to hire Officer David Hightower as a part-time police officer. Chief?
This is Mr. David Hightower. I wanted to bring him in with me at the council, and I'm just asking that he be voted on to be hired as a part-time officer.
I'll make a motion to hire David Hightower as a part-time police officer. I think we're supposed to have done this a couple of months ago.
Yeah, it got left off, but
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Lee, second by Councilman Bendel to hire David Hightower as a part-time police officer. Any discussion?
What is the rate of pay for him?
for uncertified, I believe it's 15.25, or it's,
For
no, 16, he's non-certified.
16.50.
16, yeah. I'm sorry, he said 16,
50.
50, okay.
How many part-time officers do we currently have?
We had 80, we lost a couple, and he and one other would get us back to 80. Mr. Laner put in his resignation, 2-week notice earlier this week.
By having so many, that gives you a guarantee that you will have some available when needed.
Yes, ma'am. There's a couple, like Dwayne Clark, for instance, he's a pilot for, I'm not sure which hospital, but he's a paramedic and a pilot. He only works 1 day a month, maybe 2 days a month, so we've got a few that work very limited. Then we've got others that work as many as maybe 20 hours a month or 25.
Anything else? Ms. Keisha?
Wilkerson?
Yes.
Carter?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mennel?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Officer Hightower, welcome to Westmoreland.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item is to hire Jerry Broach as a part-time police officer. Mr. Broach here?
No, sir, he's not here. He's a full-time police officer for Gallatin. Again, he is He lives close to here, and he just wants to work here part-time, just probably 2 or 3 nights per month. And it's really good for us to have certified, so his pay will be a little bit different because he is certified. Because we can't have a part-time officer uncertified working unless there's a certified officer working.
So what is his rate pay?
His will be
17.
And I'll make that motion to hire Jerry Roach, part-time police officer.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Lee, a second by Councilman Bennell to hire Jerry Roach as a part-time police officer at rate $17.25. Any discussion? Ms. Keisha?
Brown,
Yes.
Bennell,
Yes.
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Let the record reflect that the motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is increase Sergeant Witt's pay by $1.75 per hour in lieu of having city health insurance. That has me down on it. Do we want to pursue that, or does that want to be deferred or tabled?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we table this issue.
We have a motion by Councilman Bennell to table. Do we have a second?
I second.
There is usually no discussion whatsoever on a table.
Could we make it in that motion that it could be a legal?
Well, and that's what I was going to point out. The chief, I was going to ask Chief, does all of his officers understand why this is happening?
I apologize, I didn't hear the question.
That's okay, we was talking about increasing the pay by the $1.75, and I just want to make sure all of our officers know why it is being tabled.
Yes, I've already explained it to the 2 officers that this would possibly involve. They understand completely.
Okay. Very good. Okay, Ms. Keisha, you will call the roll for,
Carter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Bennell,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes.
motion carries unanimously to table. Next item on the agenda is to promote Officer Ray Altamontano to captain at a rate of $21.25 per hour. Chief Johnny brought this to us, and Ray and his family is no stranger to us. Chief Johnny and I had a discussion today, but I was telling him that when we set the leadership up of the police department, we set it up with the chief and 3 sergeants. So one sergeant became a detective. I don't have any problems whatsoever with him promoting from within and setting his structure. Only a vote of the council can make this happen. So he is asking for this to take place. Do I hear a motion?
I'm gonna make that motion, Mr. Mayor, to hire or promote Officer Ray to captain. I'm gonna set it 21.25. I think it'll be 20.25. I don't know if we've ever, well, I'll give a second, I'll comment on it.
Second.
Say Councilman Bell?
Yes.
Okay, we have the second by Councilman Bell. Go ahead.
I don't know if I can't remember ever promoting somebody if you were no more than at least $1 a raise. So, and this here would be like a $2 raise here at this town. Well, that was my reason for that.
The only thing that I was bringing up with the chief about, back with the promotion, we had the 3 sergeants. Of course, we were running 3 shifts. We have 2 shifts now. So we had the 2 sergeants and the detective, which it was a detective sergeant. So by him promoting Ray into this position as a captain, it increases his authority somewhat. It gives him some leeway. But what I was trying to stress, under the current budget, basically those three are really all you have to work with now, those three positions. And I know he's probably going to have other officers that's wanting to come in and say, now the captain has moved up, there's a detective position, but I understand from work study that the captain is going to continue to work as a detective at this point. And so if a detective is appointed or promoted later, that would need to come to the council for approval, so.
Yes, sir, that would be, and it's going to be a while before, obviously, before anyone could become a detective, they have to, within 6 months, go to a basic CID class. That's actually something that Ray and I are putting together. We're going to try to offer that in 2021. Down the road at some point, we hope to have one trained and ready to possibly take that role. We'll look at it then. It could be the city grows and we might be have an opportunity by next fiscal year. Maybe we are able to hire one more officer and to make room for that detective. If not, in the meantime, he will be handling investigations.
Anything else to discuss? Ms. Keisha?
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Carter,
We're voting on the 2025, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Bennell,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
And I guess I should ask Ray if Captain Ray is in approval with that.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries unanimously.
Captain Stars. His badge and order should be in soon, but just didn't make it here in time, but he'll be getting a new badge, so. Thanks for coming, Terry.
The next item is to promote Officer Dominic Mancino to sergeant at a rate of $19.25 per hour.
New Dominic. Dominic came family. Come on in.
Okay, do I hear a motion to put it on the floor for Dominic Mancino to become promoted to sergeant at a rate of $19.25 per hour?
I'll make that motion.
Second. And we have a motion by Councilman Lee, a second by Councilman Bennell. Go ahead, Chief.
Dominic has been working the midnight shift. He's been working it for, how long has he been on that shift? Year and a half. And we definitely need somebody with some leadership experience. He has that. He has lots of years of service. He's been a supervisor before. And the midnight shift definitely needs a supervisor because poor Ken Liddy gets called all the time. So we need someone to give him a little break. So he'll be our evening shift supervisor, and Sergeant Liddy will be the day shift supervisor.
Okay. Any questions? Dominic, have you enjoyed being at Westmoreland in your year and a half?
Absolutely.
Very good. You've been a great addition for us.
Well, thank you.
Got a lovely family.
Okay, that would be, Councilman Leith was talking about, didn't think we giving anybody a $2 increase. That would be a $2 on him.
Yeah, it was my understanding that the 1925 was the sergeant's pay, but it's come to my attention there were other things involved in that, so that's what I asked for. Obviously, I'd like to see my guys get paid as much as you all, are able to, and the city is.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that, but just
So,
what
no, I understand what you're
statement.
saying.
I thought that was sergeant's pay also.
Yeah. That is currently what the other sergeant is making.
Right.
Is currently what you're family.
But your spreadsheet showed that you can handle this without going over budget.
Absolutely.
Ms. Keisha?
Brown,
Yes.
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bennell.
Yes.
Congratulations, Sergeant.
The motion carries unanimous.
This is the Sergeant Florida. Thank you.
All right.
Turn around, chief, and get a picture. She wants a picture. Don't smile.
Yeah, we're smiling. Yeah, we're smiling. I got you a new badge order to be out soon, but in the meantime, there's a old style sergeant's badge.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for
Thank you,
what you've
everyone.
done,
Thank you.
and I appreciate it.
Y'all want to take a break before we
Let's
continue
finish
on?
this up, there's too many people out there.
Okay. Next item is to allow Amanda Wolf to return to full status as a police officer with a one-year probationary period.
I know that you were, this for work session.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilwoman Wilkerson to defer and a second by Councilman Brown. No, well, with the deferred, there's no discussion. So, let's get you to call for vote.
Bennell,
No.
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Lee,
No,
Carter.
No,
Okay, that fails. I voted 3 to 2 that we proceed on.
I'll make a motion, that in order, I'll make a motion to transfer Amanda Wolf from property management, animal control, to a full-time police officer with a one-year probation period.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Bennell. Do we have a second?
I second that, but I'd like to add, Mr. Bennell, if you don't mind, with the contingency that, her record is expunged.
Yeah, I should have said, yeah, when her record is expunged, which will be the end of the month. Yes, add that to it, Keisha, if you don't care.
So will that be full-time once the record is expunged?
Right, that'll be effective when it's expunged.
And, are we open for discussion?
Yes.
I'm sorry. And I appreciate all the public comments that was made, that we heard tonight. Of course, we can't speak to it at that time, but I appreciate everything everybody said. But I think this is a recommendation from our chief, and is all your officers here in support of
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Wolf?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the
The
reason?
entire
for them being
department, yes, ma'am, they're completely in support of her coming back to work.
here? Okay, I'd like for that to be known also. And
just so I'm clear on the understanding about her record being expunged, that's already a done deal, right? She's got the request.
It's already been worked out, it's
Yeah.
just, that court date has been set for that to happen. When that happens that day, she'll get the paperwork right then, it will be expunged.
It's just a formality.
Yes, sir.
But we're voting on an issue that has not been taken care of yet. Is that correct? Is that what the motion is?
It's contingent on
Contingent on that, yes.
I do have the question of insurance-wise. What if, does this affect anything?
Okay, some of the calls that came in to me were, let me take this off so everyone can understand what I say. Because of the seriousness of what happened in the past, our insurance company, carrier for the city, did litigate some costs. And they were asked the question, if a rehire took place, knowing what we have, because the question came up. Number one, this has happened before, so there is a pattern of behavior that has been exhibited. Okay, she's gone through several classes, she's done a lot of things. She's been through Chief, you could hit the highlights on what
She did
has happened.
8-week anger management class.
Okay, anger management.
She was immediately upon her investigation when it began with the TBI, she was decommissioned by the department as a police officer. She has continued to be, but she did maintain her certification. She was not decertified through the post. The post was contacted to ask if that was an automatic, and they said that it was not. It was up to the department. It was not requested that she be decertified as an officer. So she's kept up her training, and once her record is expunged, like it is for any citizen, it's as if it never happened.
Okay. Okay, and that answers some of the questions that PE partners asked. One of the things that they were concerned with the expungement not already taking place, they wanted to know what the rush was. In other words, Chief Jolly probably answered it best. Ms. Wolf will probably not be able to go to any other department and be employed at this point. I don't know if she's checked at Portland or Fayette or Gallatin, other offices to see if they would consider her for employment or not. But they wanted to know what the rush was for us to put her back to work, and with this not even taking place yet. And I said, well, as far as I know, she has served all the obligations that she's been asked to take care of. She's done everything to be done, and the chief is supporting it. The police officers are supporting it. Obviously, not everyone did support this because you've had 2 officers resign, and that was the reason given to me for the very reason for leaving. Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make a note on that. I'm not sure what they told you, but I was not given that reason by either one of the officers. Neither one of them said they were resigning because of Amanda coming back.
Okay, so noted. So, let's see, some of the other, let's see, number one was, why was for rush. Number 2, has expungement happened already? It's in progress. Is there a reason not to wait another year or 2 for this to happen? And claim said that they had basically, and I'm talking to each council member here tonight, and the chief, because that was the names that was called to me. It says that claims have already paid out, and there is no more options for this. If this happens again, then number 1, they will look at it and say there was a lack of training, there was a lack of preparation, a lack of everything that you are as a body of elected officials that are in charge to circumvent this. So they would not be paying out another claim. So if there's another claim made, the claim will come back to the city, probably each council member individually and the chief. So we'll just have to, I told them that I would pass that on, and
Was that pertaining to Ms. Wolf?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But not other officers?
No, because they have already done litigation, and I may not have the correct term of what, tell me, Chief, when they take care of it before it goes to trial to keep it from
Plea
happening.
deal, or you're talking about a plea, or they settle out of court?
You're right. He gave me a term for it, but I didn't have my pencil with me when I was traveling and couldn't write it down. But they made it very plain that, and they're not going to tell you who you can hire and who you can't hire. That is your job by the charter and the policies and procedures, but your name is attached to this. So know what a debt, obligation that, she's gonna owe to you if you pass this tonight, because, you're gonna be carrying it with you. So, this is, I think that is all. Okay, I'll see if we got other questions before I move on with anything.
Well, everybody's acting like it's the first time this situation's ever come before something. I mean, there's situations happen like this several times where the officers take their records running, got hired back, and everything worked out good.
We just promoted one to captain tonight, that happened too.
I have a list from the post of many offenses that have occurred in the last year that Officer Bellavia actually found and printed up for me and highlighted there. And this is strictly subjective, it's my opinion that there were many offenses that were created by officers that were brought before post to be decertified. That post, they did not approve them to be decertified. In my opinion, based on my years of experience and having investigated officer-involved uses of force, I don't believe that this particular case was handled exactly as it might should have been. There were some improper procedures that happened, but I don't believe that it rose even to the extent of being criminal in nature whatsoever. And she has been stripped from her police powers for over a year. She remained in this city because this is where she wants to work, and I think that she's been a good employee. And the reason I don't think she would be able to get a job in another city, if the city that she's maintained and worked for over a year after this happened doesn't see fit to let her have a second chance, I think that other cities would feel the same way, and I believe it would ruin a potentially good officer's career at a young start. She didn't have the 3 or 4 months on the road when this happened. I believe she deserves a second chance, and I appreciate the information that you gave her, because I believe she realizes that the entire department, the city, everybody's reputation is on the line for her, and we're willing to do that. But she knows that she's got to be held to a higher standard, and I believe you're going to see that's what she'll do if you allow her the chance.
I am honestly afraid, and this was something that Mr. Alfantano and I agreed upon when he was chief before, is that she will hesitate now. And I wouldn't want to see her hesitate and get herself hurt out there. We'd be just as guilty then as we were the other, on both sides of the pendulum here. So we've got a decision to make, and is there any other questions that you want to ask or things that you want to say?
What are we going to do if contingent upon the expungement, if for some reason the charges are not expunged, and we've got on the next agenda item tonight to hire another coach and animal control officer at a rate of $19 an hour? Where are we going to sit when we pass both of these agenda items?
Well, personally speaking, the first thing that I would say is not pass the second item until the first one is secured. Also, I feel like very much what you said is for work study, we're having to tighten a lot of belts, and things are being, a lot of jobs are not what jobs were before March the 20th. So there's a lot of belt tightening, a lot of moving around, a lot of shifting of employees, as you will. So I think that if you put Ms. Wolf back into this position, she needs to retain what she's carrying with her for a while until the city gets things squared away about what we want to do with property maintenance and also with animal control. Just because we have a name on an agenda and have a good candidate, there's a lot of things tied to that one also, and when we get to it, I'll be happy to mention it, but it's been asked to be added about a permits person tonight. Let's see, how was it? It was building code services. So as we see how we tackle that at the end, there may be some changes that we make or don't make. So right now, and we haven't advertised for another person, so if he wants to, if the chief wants to bring his other individual on, he really needs to bring him on as an officer and not as a property maintenance person and a animal control, because we didn't advertise for that position, number one, and number two, that was a position that was made for Ms. Wolf in order for the council to retain her employment, and we really need to put that money to use elsewhere in the budget. So, anything else? Okay.
The motion doesn't state contingent on the expungement. Can we make sure that this?
I thought you could put that in there, Tony.
Fred asked me to, and I asked you to have that.
Is it in?
Yeah, it's in there.
I second, I made my second, before I seconded.
What pay is Ms. Wolf going to go to if she goes back to this position?
$17.25.
Chief, will this give you a full capacity of officers that, or full?
Based on what I've been told, the department, when I came on, it was my understanding that full capacity would be myself and 8 other full-time certified officers. And if she does come on as a full-time officer, that gives us, myself included, 9 full-time certified officers.
The city received a grant back about early 1990s, which required Chief Danny Pickett at that time, and he hired an officer named Nisi Driver. And that gave 6 officers plus 1. And when that grant ran out, it was like a 3-year project. And once that grant ran out for that officer, they started to dismiss Ms. Driver, is my understanding. And at that point, the grant official stepped in and said that it was part of the grant that they maintained 6 officers. So we have to maintain 6 officers and a chief. And a few years ago, we made it 7 and a chief, and then 8 and the chief. And then last year, we actually brought it up to 9 and the chief, but Ray was unable to hire anyone, and we couldn't fill the position. So we took the money that was there for that position and distributed it back out, and that was kind of how we got the revenue to be able to give the raises last year. If we'd have maintained the 9 plus the chief, we'd been well stocked with people, but we probably could have written them a paycheck. But that kind of gives you a little bit of history on it, and the reason that Westmoreland has the officers that they have was because a grant was obtained, somewhat like the SAFE grant for the fire department. Obviously, once you get into it, then you maintain it. So right now, that is our requirements. We could drop it down if necessary due to budgetary implementations. But I would hope that would never happen. But I know that Chief Jolly is trying to build a good, solid department here, and that's why he has brought all these items on the agenda tonight. So, but this one is a serious issue. I'm going to throw out my 2 cents worth on a couple of things, and normally I don't. But 90% of the time, when I call down to the police department, or when I call Miss Wolf or the chief, I get whatever I need almost immediately. A mayor could not ask for better things to happen. But I made a call back in late July that was somewhat disturbing to me. And I let it pass. It really didn't make any difference. But we had an entire department that went down because of COVID. And my first call was to Miss Wolf to ask her while she was working, would she be willing to help me on the sanitation truck? And her response was no. I came back up to City Hall, which part of her duties was she was supposed to work at City Hall and animal control. So I asked at this point, I said, if I bring Miss Wolf up here, is there anyone that would be willing to help me ride the sanitation truck to keep this city moving? Miss Keisha and Miss Kelly both volunteered to go home and get their clothes, get changed, and they would be back. So with that, sometimes I wonder, was Miss Wolf the actual team player that we're looking for? It wasn't that, Mayor, I've got a lot happening today. I've got a back problem, I've got a hip problem. Obviously, she's a strong young woman and she is available for work. I would just be curious why it was, you know, that I was given an answer like that day. And she may have had plans to go to a birthday party or something like that, and I'm perfectly all right. You can ask any of my department heads if they need something. I tried to accommodate it. But that kind of took me back when I felt like we had really bent over backwards as a city to help her. And it was just as nonchalant, no, I can't help today. And like I said, there was no additional explanation given. So, the council, this decision is up to you. It's like I said, you know the pros, you know the cons, you know all about it. So, Ms. Keisha, if you'll call the roll.
Lee,
Yes.
Wilkerson,
No.
Little,
Yes.
Brown,
No.
Carter.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Wolf has been restored contingent to her record being expunged. She will be reinstated to $17.25 an hour, and I congratulate you. Okay, the next item is to hire Tracy Getwood as a property codes and animal control at a rate of $19 per hour. David Lee.
I'm gonna make a motion, we hire Mr. Ashwood, Getwood
Yes, sir.
as a police officer. And that the chief of police assign him where he needs to be assigned. If that's animal control, which is property maintenance, that's it, that's $19.
I'll second that.
So what was your motion exactly again?
To hire a police officer,
As a police officer?
yes, and that Chief Jolly assign him where he needs to be assigned.
So he fits in your spreadsheet
Yes, sir.
to still stay
The
under
budget,
budget
yes, sir.
by putting him in this position.
Absolutely.
Now, you realize that his spreadsheet budget is based on this year's numbers, and those numbers are skewed because we didn't have a chief in the position for several months.
Yes, sir. What I did to figure the numbers was take the budget amount that's remaining and take the officers and the civilian employee, which is Sedina, at the rate that they would be paid per year at 40, the officers 43 hours per week because they don't get overtime until they reach that. The civilian employee, such as Sedin, at 40 hours per week, and it still falls under by approximately $17,000 of what the remaining budget is for salary.
But what I'm saying is, the reason you have that money is because your position was vacant.
Yes, sir, I understand.
If we'd been paying your position for the, 6 months that it was vacant, that money would have all been gone and you wouldn't have it to use tonight. So that's my point.
That's correct. We have it in the budget to finish out this year, but it would probably take an increase in salary budget for the next fiscal year. That's correct.
Other discussion?
So he would make you, I've heard a lot of numbers thrown out, so he would make you full staff. You're not overstaffed, you're full staff, which is 9 foot.
With him as a police officer, we would actually have 10, and including myself, which would, in that sense, make us one over based on what you all have told me that it should be 9. But we wouldn't have a codes animal control officer. And Mike, I understand what the mayor was saying. Pretty much Amanda's expulsion is guaranteed, but if something really crazy were to happen and it didn't, then there would be a situation where you would have, if she stayed on with that and he remained a police officer, then it would be over. If it does work out as it should, he could take her role that she's doing now.
Does all of the animal control and codes come out of the police right now?
No,
was she coming out of something
it actually, animal control has its own line that was set aside for that because that was part of Tim Farley's
Right.
salary before.
So her salary was split between,
Exactly. And I actually thought part of it may still have been coming from City Hall because there was supposed to be that split between City Hall and police. But I think that because it didn't work out to come about, I think they still kept all of it coming either out of the police department or out of animal control. Which animal control is basically what was placed there to be paying for our county permits and pre-planning for permitting. Right now, that line is it's growing and see if I can find it right quick.
It's on page 5.
Yes, page 5, item number 174. We're a little more than $8,000 or $8,400 in the hole on that one, and on our other where we're paying Mr.
Mr. Mills, he comes out of there as well.
Okay. So the county guys have been doing. We've not been doing too bad with them. The permit fees have paid a lot of it, but for the last 2 months, we have dropped our permits, or only like two permits each month. So we were fortunate that one of those were a big ticket item, and it helped put some of the money back. But at our next meeting, that will probably be on the agenda to move that money to let it go where it's supposed to be going.
But all of Amanda's salary was coming out of that 965, or that animal control.
Okay. All right, if he was hired as a full-time officer and then Chief Jolly did assign him as property code / animal control, could his salary not be taken out of the line item 965 animal control that's already budgeted there? That Amanda will stop at that point, or she'll become police budget?
Actually, what I'm saying is that when the next council meets, one of the things they need to do is to put that money back over to help pay for the codes that is there, not what's being, right now is that we're just kind of taking it out willy-nilly and we're not putting money back into that. There's nothing in that fund, so. Actually, when you voted to remove her from that position, you were really just taking back what you had previous. So the budget needs to reflect that in your financial statement. Nothing needs to also. Now, with Officer Gatwood, if he does, we're going to talk about codes here in a minute, but I didn't know what was going to be happening. That wasn't on the agenda. So I was going to ask the next council. Obviously, y'all haven't done anything with this in quite a while. I was going to ask the next council how they want to handle it. If they want to handle a person, or if they want to turn this over to the county to do, or how we want to move forward with it. We're going to hit another slow lull period, but I'm going to use this opportunity to tell you I don't really agree with farming it out. I think it needs to be someone right here in this community. If they don't live in this community, they ought to at least report to this community, and we'll get into that later when we discuss the other. But Chief Jolly has said that Mr. Gatwood wants to, is very interested in being a codes official. So we may be looking a gift horse in the mouth here and just not know how to react to it yet, because the bright star is so shining, it's got us blinded. So. But the bottom line is right now, as far as a 10th officer as such, that is not in the budget, so we'll be doing another budget amendment to make sure we take care of that. If the chief doesn't feel like he has enough in his current budget to get him through this year on it. Your other certified officers are making $17.25, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so what is the rate of pay for Mr. Gatwood?
I believe Mr. Lee, Councilman Lee, recommended 19. He would not be, he retired from Metro Police Department, so he wouldn't be taking any of the city's health insurance, which would save the city almost $8,000 per year. And he's got a lot of experience, and he could potentially be taking on the role of 3 different things: a certified police officer, and also possibly doing the codes and animal control.
Okay. Ms. Keisha, will you read the motion back to me, please?
Motion to hire Mr. Gatwood as a police officer at $19 per hour, and the chief assign him as needed.
Okay, it doesn't state if that's a full-time officer or a part-time officer, so I was going on the assumption it was going to be full-time. So, wanted to get that cleared up. Do you feel like you have enough in your budget to cover him as of right now?
Yes, sir. I'm positive that the budget will, the remainder of this fiscal year, I can't speak for 2021 because, like you mentioned, a good portion of this year, there were only 3 or 4 officers that were even working here because the department had lost several officers, and you weren't paying a chief. So, and I realize that. So we'll have to look at it again the new fiscal year. But for the remainder that we have left in the budget under salary and what it's going to take to pay, as it's been presented, approximately $17,000 will be left over. But obviously, because of those same situations, the overtime budget is going to go over this year. We're almost to that amount at this time.
I think we've pretty much discussed everything that we need to discuss as far as this part of it goes. My only concern is you have officers making $17.25 and you're bringing someone in at more than your officers are making now. And that kind of terrifies me as such. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to see our officers making that kind of money, but it wasn't that long ago we were struggling to get them $10 an hour. So.
I understand.
But the council's going to have to make a decision on it, and you know, the motion is for a full-time and at $19 an hour.
Do you think that he would be willing to wait till the next budget year is considered, or would you lose him?
We'd lose him, and I mean, I understand, I reached out to him when he first expressed interest. I explained to him that it was a small city with a small budget, and that the city might not be able to pay him what he would like to make. He was hoping to make $20 an hour, and I explained to him that I didn't think that would be possible. What I was thinking of, if he was hired on as an officer at $17.25, if the city paid him half of what they would have to pay for health insurance in lieu of that, because he doesn't need it, that's about $1.75 an hour is how I came up with the 19. And he said that he would be willing to work for 19. He's been guaranteed a raise where he's working now, starting January 1st, to $800 per week, which would be slightly more than what he'd make here at 19 an hour. But he'd like to get back into law enforcement.
The issue is that when you, if a job is advertised, if we posted a job with rates, which we do, correct? Does everybody believe me? Does everybody understand that? And that individual who chooses employment, if hired, options out of insurance, that doesn't change my salary. It doesn't change the rate of pay. They opted out. So what we're asking is, and I know we're comparing a couple of dollars, but the issue is we set a rate for what we hire new officers. And yet now we're debating the fact that we're going to change it because they opt out of insurance. Employees opt out of insurances all the time. Their spouse carries their insurance. They have TennCare. They have other insurances available to them. The employer doesn't go back and say, hey, I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and increase your pay because you're going to save us money. That is not the procedure. That's not the procedure. That is not the rate of pay that was set in motion by the powers to be. Whatever it is, whether it's a Fortune 500 company or whether it's a community like a municipality. We're asking all the officers who were hired prior to this date to say, hey, you took the insurance, this is your pay. It's set in stone. We can't change it based on the fact that someone doesn't take a benefit. Benefits are what they are. They're a benefit. That's the word. The word means it's extra. You get that because you signed it. So I don't agree with the fact that we're changing the rate of pay because we decided, because someone opted out of insurance. I don't like that. That doesn't set a precedence for our community. It doesn't set a precedence for the way we do business. I don't agree with it. And furthermore, just to add to this was the same job. This was the same creation of the job that I first introduced when we hired Officer, well, when Amanda Wolf was going to be retained by the city, when she wasn't no longer able to be a police officer. I made the motion to have a full-time officer to enforce these things. And here we are, we're doing it, and this is great. But where's the narrative changed? It's changed, and I don't understand why. This is exactly what I wanted, but I'm getting it because I don't know. I don't. That's the problem I've got. Is You know, I asked for this a year ago. I wanted to include another full-time officer. Because that way we enforce codes. Where we have an animal control officer who's trained. I assume there's hours for animal control that officers can get, Chief?
Right now, the way it's been since I came on is it's 8 to 4 job, 40 hours a week for the animal control officer.
Yeah. But is there further certification for animal control officers that can get or anything like that?
Oh, I'm sure there is, but to my knowledge,
There's
right.
4 schools.
I'm sorry.
There's 4 schools they can attend.
So the point is, this is what I wanted. I wanted this, but it just seems the narrative has changed because of what happened here tonight. So I'm going to leave that. I know that take that with what you, however you wish. But no, I do not like the fact that we're changing the rate of pay because someone's going to opt out of a benefit.
Well, on that note, Keisha just gave us, or sent us an email today about the legal obligation of it that,
That we can't pretty much.
yeah, that we pretty much can't do that, increase somebody's pay because they opt out of insurance. So,
There you go.
yeah,
Yes, Chief.
I was just going to say, I didn't know this part of, that's what you all have the expertise in. I knew it wasn't common practice. I've not seen that, and I agree with what Mr. Brown was saying.
right.
I was trying to see if there was a way, I was trying to help our employees the best way I could and see if we could get them a little bit more pay if possible, but I believe that the $2 raise you gave was awesome, and they greatly appreciate that. And if Mr. Gatwood can't come for that, the money that the city can offer, that's fine. I'm sure there'll be another candidate, so I understand where Mr. Brown, I understand everything he's saying, what you all. And I thought that might be a dilemma, but we talked about it today, so I wasn't sure if it was legal or not.
Yeah, even at the rate of $17.25, it would basically be another full-time officer for your refunding, and that would obviously be pushed into next year. I mean, it's great in thought, but you have a lot of officers that make $17.25, and then there's a lot of city hall staff and public works staff that's right behind it and saying, we want a piece of that pie too. As a matter of fact, you're going to be discussing one here in just a minute, so.
I agree with Mr. Brown. Mr. Gatwood sounds like the perfect candidate for what the job description. But then I have a problem with our other officers full-time being $17.25 and him up to $19. So, I mean, he would be great.
Right.
I'm not doubting you there, but
I understand.
I hate to obligate that money. I would, going off the council, for the other council to come up with the funds for.
We got any other discussion on it?
Well, if we bring the money back to $17.25 and see if he'll be willing to come in here and then maybe once he starts doing 3 different roles, increase his pay something like that when he's wearing 3 different hats.
But our issue is still, when we roll into the new fiscal year, we may not have this money. Since he is an additional officer. Yeah, I agree, we need somebody doing it. And I'm very thankful that you're trying to help your guys. But going into the next year, I don't know that it's gonna be there. And that's my worry.
See what I'm trying to say? How interested is he in becoming a part-time or a building inspector? I heard that mentioned a minute ago, I think, Mr. Mayor, you did.
Mr. Charlie sent out an email.
Yes, sir. After the last work study, to be honest with you, I didn't know. I knew he had some experience in construction, but I didn't know to what extent. So I called him and just asked him, I said, would you at all be interested in something like that? Because I knew you all were going to discuss potential things down the road. And he said, I'd absolutely be interested. And he sent me back, or I asked him to give me a thing of his experience, and I sent that to you all. He's very interested. I don't think he would do like others, and you send him to school and he leaves. He's 60 years old, he's retired, I mean, he lives in Carthage. I think it would be something he'd want to do for the next 10 or 12 years, so. But I don't know what it entails as far as getting the training and stuff like that, but I'm sure that he would be very willing to do it.
The training is pretty much that he's got to work on the job with it for 1 year, and then he can sit for the test, and unless he meets some prior criteria that shaves off time off of it.
Okay.
But there's no doubt for us to get a codes official, and then it's probably going to cost us more than that.
A lot more than $19 probably.
But then again,
We're basically paying it out anyway.
Well, right now, we can't pay, we don't have the money to be paying what we're paying now, so.
But then would say if that did happen, if we chose to go in the direction of seeking applications for a building inspector / codes, animal control, and he was interested in it. Oh my God. Oh. And he still maintained his certification as a police officer. Could he still be utilized?
Yes, ma'am. What my thought was, just because of his experience in law enforcement, even if it's down the road, if he were to come here as a building inspector, codes person, it wouldn't take much at all, money-wise or time-wise, to go ahead and get his certification as an officer. And I think, as we mentioned at the work study, sometimes when you're out doing these inspections, it's not a bad idea to have that authority to be able to have a handgun or whatever you need. So I think it'd be a benefit to the city, even if he was hired as the building inspector, to go ahead and keep him certified as an officer as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It'd just be an extra benefit.
If he stayed certified as an officer.
Yes, he would want to do that, and we would be able to accommodate that, and it wouldn't really cost any extra money.
Because there's been times when Amanda had to call an officer
Yes,
out
ma'am.
because she couldn't do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Is he basically already post-certified and everything ready to go?
He retired in January of 2015, so he would have to go through a transition school of about 2 weeks at the academy. Because it hasn't been 10 years, but it's been slightly by a month, it's been more than 5.
Okay. All I can say is if y'all want to try to set it at $17.25 and then let him work it up. If he's not interested, then he's not interested.
The motion's on for 19.
Okay, so the motion's at 19.
I'll change that to 17.25. Keep having any kind of issues with it. If we were second.
I second the motion, so change its time to me.
Okay, so we change it to 17.25, and we'll extend the offer, versus that he's able to meet all the criteria for employment, and that'll give you the next officer. Where will you be placing him shift-wise if he does accept the offer?
He would work a day shift and be doing the codes and animal control. He would take right over what Ms. Wolf's been doing.
Council members, you have a lot to think about.
I would like to know where he stands on the possibility of wearing 3 hats, not just 2. If we were to invest in a 9th, correct me if I'm 10th officer?
It'd be
In
10.
your department?
Right.
Which would fully stock you,
Yes, sir.
more than we've ever probably had.
He's fully stocked right now.
He's fully stocked, no
You would
doubt.
technically be extra.
Right, and it kind of depends on how you look at it.
But if you're assigned into property maintenance, animal control.
Right, it'd be like,
So
there'd be
his
full
money is still coming
officers.
out of the police department. That salary is still coming from there, that's the issue.
Well, the majority of his salary would actually come from the one that's created for code, which is 32,000 and something.
Yeah.
So at $19 an hour,
But that 32,000 is moving somewhere else, correct?
It's,
Needs to cover everything else.
I know that this one says we have 8,000 that we owe back out of it, and how much do we owe it? Are we pretty much breaking even as far as the permits are at this point? I was thinking that you said we were a little bit below on,
I'm not trying to be, I just want to make sure that if we do this, that we're not going to run into an issue.
Or there's always gonna be issues.
Oh, I know, we can head it off before we
but
get
the
there.
first
I'd rather
thing
head
is
it off.
we need to pay what we already have.
Right.
And then if there's extra, then use it at that point.
You don't have to.
But as far as his budget for the police department right now, he says he has enough to cover it for this year, and of course, the new budget year is coming, and we'll have to make adjustments for that, and you know, it's like I told the chief, I said, I know you're gonna wanna ask for a couple of new cars and things like that, and some more equipment, and obviously with, more officers comes more uniforms and equipment for them, so like I said, council has a lot to be thinking about on it.
So with the present, with Amanda coming back on, if she does, that's put you 9 full-time officers plus yourself.
yes, ma'am.
But really, he needs 10 and himself, if we're going to ask him to take control of property management and animal control, he needs that extra person.
Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to set this one aside for just a few minutes and talk about the remaining things and come back to it. The one that I placed on there to advertise for a part-time building inspector, I'm going to hold off on that until we see what we're going to do. If we don't get something resolved tonight, then I'm place that back on there after the first of the year. But we don't really need a part-time person right now if we're discussing a full-time person, so that one's kind of null and void. So be advertised for a part-time building inspector, I'm putting that on hold. Let's discuss the raises for the city hall staff. We ran out of time at our last meeting. Keisha sent out something. This is exactly what I've been talking about when we do things in the middle of the budget year or pass the budget and then do it. All of our staff received the same raise, and everyone was happy with that raise. And then our police department decided they didn't like what was being offered. So the council went back and gave an additional $1 to all the police department. They gave an additional $1 to Public Works. We moved on that path. Keisha knew how tight the budget was. She talked to her staff, and her staff was in agreement with it at that time. But now, as more and more folks have come forward, the staff at City Hall feels like they're being rained on over there, and for good reason. We've always done a great job in trying to keep all of our departments either doing percentage raises or things like that. Somehow or another this year, we got out of touch with that. So Keisha sent out the email to everyone, and I told her I would have been disappointed had she not stepped forward as the leader of that department to ask that the ladies in that department get this extra $1 an hour raise to match what everyone else has got. We don't have a pay scale, we don't have a system in place. We've got probably the most educated city hall staff that we've ever had right now. It's my understanding, and in case you can help me out on this, that Debbie did turn in her notice for retirement for later this year now. I told Debbie, I said, I'm just now, or I told Keisha, I said, I've just now got 4 people in this department. I've got 4 people in that department for a reason. For more years than I can count on my fingers, we have had a finding of internal controls on our annual audit. In 2019, 2020, the comptroller's office said, we've got to get that under control. So I had to sign a document earlier this year saying that the city of Westmoreland would remedy this. And part of the reason that has always been given in the past is we didn't have enough staff to do this with. So I finally got enough staff, and I've informed Ms. Sprout that starting January 1, we would implement a full internal controls policy. I want that wiped off of our audit in the coming year. We won't get it off in time for this audit to come. And they may slap our hand over it because y'all told you many times, the legislature has decided they are unhappy with things. Another things, and there are other items that are coming as of January 1 that the comptroller's office is implementing on cities that we're going to have to start meeting those requirements. So I have actually told her, I said, please beg Debbie not to retire December 31st, to at least stick around with us part-time. We've got to get everyone trained in the functions of the police citations, the court docket issues and things like that. We've got lots of things going on. But we've got new software that's still being implemented, lots of things that are happening. And now trash cans on top of that, so we just keep, it's like we just keep throwing stuff at City Hall and saying, here it comes, y'all just take care of it. And in the meantime, you got people coming in wanting open records requests and different things. I can't imagine the open records requests are going to come in the next 2 or 3 days over actions taken here tonight. So we'll just deal with them, do our best, and Ms. Keisha, I'm available if you need me for anything. And I'm just kind of sitting around trying to stay out of your way, and I commend her on doing the best job that she can do with what she has to do with. But I encourage you to pass, someone to make a motion and to pass that to bring the City Hall staff up to what you gave everyone else.
I make a motion that we bring City Hall their pay up to equal to make it fair.
$101 an hour.
Okay.
I'll second.
Who was that? Okay, we have a motion by Councilwoman Wilkerson and a second by Councilman Bennell to bring the City Hall staff up to what the other folks received back in July. I'm not going to ask that it be retroactive. We'll take it from this date or from the next pay date forward. Any questions?
What does that make it, what does that raise equal to, $1?
$1.
$1.
For employees.
And your budget can handle that?
No. And that's what I said. We're already gonna be over 6,000 from hiring Kelly. And then
Well, we took care of that.
Fix that.
I took care of that, right?
Yeah.
So if Debbie goes part-time, and I talked to her part-time at first was, you call me when you need me to come in. If somebody's sick, somebody's on vacation, whatever. When I talked to her about, needing her for internal control, she said, you just let me know. You want me to work 2 days a week? You want me to work 3 days a week? What do you want? She said, just tell me what you want and I'll show up. So, I calculated it at 3 days a week. And that's gonna put us an extra $3,399.86 over budget.
If we don't give the raise, but if we give the raise, it'd be $9,399.
Well, we've got 6,000 of that is already taken care of with budget.
Oh,
amendment.
okay, so,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, so we're needing 3,000.
Well, you still got, 28,000 left from your state income tax.
Right.
So if we took $3,400 more from that, you're still gonna have roughly 25,000 left.
Correct.
Right. Okay, so the $9,399 had the $6,000
Had the
in there.
$6,000 in
Okay,
there,
okay,
yes.
okay.
Okay. Ms. Keisha, if you call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bennell,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations everyone at City Hall.
They will be happy. And thank y'all.
Okay, the next item is 37186 Smiles. Mr. Lee?
Real quick, they applied for a permit, I think. They've already
Yes.
applied for the permit.
Yes, and I'm sorry I didn't bring everybody involved with that.
And, that's, everybody knows about the group, that's, the decorating in town. And on the day of the Christmas parade, they wanna occupy this area down here in front of the Veterans Park. Just that one parking lot there, and we'll set some food trucks and have some vendors, and, for that day. And, she, told me that they're getting the insurance policy in place tomorrow. And I told her that this motion would be contingent upon City Hall having a copy of that insurance there, getting $1 million insurance policy to do this. So,
Okay, she did put in a she didn't ask to close any streets or anything, so it's just that area right there. And I sent her to the veterans, and the veterans okayed it. I didn't know if they were gonna do the insurance for it or.
now, she went ahead and bought the insurance, or the group did, went ahead and bought the insurance that will cover any other kind of event that they might have for a year.
Okay, so is this a motion to approve the permit?
Yes, providing that City Hall has a copy of that insurance policy by day's end, or
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Councilman Lee, a second by Councilman Bennell to approve 37186 Smiles for the area in front of Veterans Park for, what is it, December 5th?
yes.
For the event, contingent upon their policy rider getting into City Hall, which that's contingent upon everybody, that's a requirement. Any discussion? Okay, if you call the roll, Ms. Genscher?
Bennell,
Yes.
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Record, look for it, carries unanimously. Building code services, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, I just want to get this in front of the council, so I'm going to make a motion that we adopt the building and code service that the Mr. Wright offered to us, and I'll have more to say if I can get a second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Bendel, a second by Councilman Lee. Go right ahead, Mr. President.
Okay, when we brought this up, this is back last January, actually. Since Mr. Mills is an expert, I sent him the proposal, which there was two options from the county, and option 2 was totally out of question. But option 1 would meet a lot of our needs, if not all. So I sent that proposal to Steve Mills in February, and I said, you know, here's the agreement that they've offered to us, and basically, what do you think about it? And I won't read the whole letter, of course, but he says, in summary, it looks like a good deal to me. Make sure that if the city in the future wants to bring this service back in-house, you will be able to. If you have any other questions, let me know. Now, I've heard a number thrown around that we're paying, Mr. Mills already paid him how much? $11,000, did I hear?
Yes, I mean, that's not for like the fiscal year, that's for the calendar back to January.
Yeah, well,
Clear that up.
it would seem to me to get this worked out. You know, I don't know who we're going to hire to do where this police officer may come and want to do that. But I think we can save some money by going ahead and adopting this proposal from Mr. Wright. We may need to tweak it a little bit, but I think it would meet our needs right now.
Okay, let's tweak the proposal from Mr. Wright. If you have your copy of it by any chance, item 3D is one that I think should be stricken from it. It says, in the event that a fee payment is not made on a parcel in the city, the county will be assisted by the city in collecting the same. I think that should be left totally up to them, and we should not have have anything in that.
I don't know that I've ever seen, all I have is the letter. Was there a proposal?
This was a contract from Mr. Wright that was sent out.
It has 2 options on it.
Well, that's not a contract. That's just a communications, all that is.
Is what?
This thing I have is just a,
This says contract on the top of it.
Well, see, I don't remember seeing it.
And,
what I'm looking at, it says proposal.
okay.
I don't see it. I didn't see it.
What you have is old. He sent a contract that you should
Has anybody else seen the
later.
contract? I've never seen it.
I thought
It
there
was
was
like
contract.
months ago.
Yeah, I thought it was contract.
I looked for it.
And I thought we entered into a contract. with it.
No, we didn't enter the contract because I didn't like the wording on it, and the council never brought it back up. So, if you want to pass the contract with them and leave me in charge of taking out the things that I don't agree with the city, I'm perfectly open to that, and we'll get this moving, and then that settles everything else. I will say, I am totally against us farming out our permitting and everything outside the city. We've lost our communication system. We have no control over it whatsoever now, and whatever the county says you do, then we have to do. We don't have any control over any of that anymore. We can ask and we can request. This contract says in it, there was something that caught my mind on it about the city. Basically, you don't have any say-so into it after you turn it over to them. They will make sure that they do all the permitting, the fees.
The reviews of the permit, like Mr. Mills is doing.
The
Will they
city
do
county
that?
reserves the right to charge an additional $75 inspection fee whenever it is not accessible. Still not what I was looking for. The county will make all decisions as to the hiring, employment, retaining, discipline, dismissal of any staff, as for the county, as well as the timeline of the matters that will be handled. The county is very professional. One thing that is they don't really cover in this, but is something the county is going to start doing electrical inspections. And they would like very much to pull this in with their inspections there also. But it doesn't say it at this point that that's part of our contract. But I haven't heard anything from Steve as to how that's progressed as far as meetings with the county. I went to a couple of meetings down there about it, and that was it. It got turned over to legal. So, my problem with it is, if we don't have a person inside this city that is monitoring this city and keeping up with things, how many buildings are having a porch built onto it, a deck built onto it, a storage building pulled in, that violates the planning and zoning rules. You're just losing all that. Swimming pool permit, maybe, it doesn't sound like much, $20, $30, $40. 10 by 10 building or a 20 by 10 building over here, $40. A carport addition over here, somebody just decides they're going to take it on, $40. It's not too long that you have neighbors that are calling you wanting to say, what's going on here? I thought we had a city that had things under control, and you're not doing anything about this. You talk about property maintenance and codes. Property maintenance is basically what Amanda has been taking care of. She has not been taking care of codes, building permitting. She's been getting a lot of questions because of the title codes. But our police force has been the ones that's actually been getting things cleaned up here. As you notice down by IGA, things are cleaned up. Officer Montana went down and cited the gentleman. He's going to turn it over to the courts and let the courts handle it. We have done and not done enough to create 3 turmoils in the last 4 years because of codes and permits and property maintenance. So we're on a good move. You passed some good ordinances tonight. We're making things come together, but honestly, I don't feel you've waited so long on this. I feel like your new council should be the one that takes this up. And if you want to review the contract, it's right here. You're welcome to look at it.
I'll just withdraw my motion. I just want to have a little discussion on it. I think we should have moved on it months ago, but that didn't happen, so I'll remove my motion.
And I will make a comment, the police department is doing a good job, but Ray was down there because Amanda could not cite them people. She's been working on that for a long time. That's the reason Ray wrote the citation on Amanda couldn't.
Like I said, this junk car's been sitting out there for probably a year and a half, so.
I agree.
I got this for you.
I think we're starting to get some teeth in it. Okay.
So what you're saying, your recommendation would be to bring it all back in-house to get a building inspector / code / animal control, all in one person?
No, that's what happened with Tim. You loaded him down with too much.
But what are you
You
asking?
need a codes person, you need a permitting person, you need a planning and zoning person that handles that. That is enough of a job for anybody. Animal control needs to be totally separate, and you need to send a person to school for animal control that knows what the rules, regulations, and laws are governing this jurisdiction about animal control. I mean, Amanda said it the other night, you get into TWRA, Wildlife Resources, obviously you get into the animal rights organizations and things like that. There is a lot to that. And this council has been notorious for overloading people and giving them more jobs than what they can do. and then they end up leaving a good job, packing up and going somewhere else. And it's time that we put our hats on and do our job and make things happen for this city that needs to happen. So now we're back to Tracy Gatwood.
We have a motion on the floor, if I'm not wrong.
That is correct. Ms. Keisha, if you'll read that motion one more time.
Okay, motion to hire Gatwood as a full-time police officer at $17.25 an hour, and the chief assign him as needed.
We still in discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
So, we said a lot tonight about 3 different jobs. And, animal control has always, in a lot of jurisdictions, has fell under the police department. And property codes and building inspectors seem to fall under one separate title, or one person wearing the hat of those two individuals. So I am in favor of taking a step back and reevaluating what we really need for the city, because I don't think we're at a position to hire another individual without we truly knowing what we need as a city. I think what we need is data. I'd like to know how much animal control, which I have that, but I want to look at it further. Animal control and property codes that Amanda is doing in a 1 month, 3 month, and a 6 month timeline, because that will give us a breakdown of average of how long this individual or Amanda was doing that particular job. And then look at the same data for a part-time building inspector, or a building inspector. How much is who is actually getting needing to get the was it permits, and what else? What other verbiage on this?
Pre-planning.
Pre-planning. Pre-planning, and then also I thought that individual also needs to be a part of the planning and zoning board. And so look at that data and realize how we can be most cost effective with what we need. I don't think we're there yet. And so I think anything we do right tonight is going to be premature. Hiring someone when we're not ready because we haven't seen the data and we haven't studied it, which we need to do in a work session in the future. I'm in favor of waiting and tabling this. I know the motion's on the floor to hire. I think we just need to vote about it and go forward. I may be saying a lot for nothing.
Okay. Any other comments?
I just think there's just too much up in the air to make a decision on this tonight. I know I can't, with me going off the board, I can't, because nothing's in concrete on it. We would be in need of code/building inspector. I don't know.
Okay, the motion on the floor is to hire Tracy Gatwood as a full-time police officer to answer to the chief's discretion, and he'd be full-time day shift at $17.25 per hour. One last call, okay? If you'll call the roll, please.
Little,
No.
Brown,
Nope.
Carter,
No.
Lee,
I'll have to vote yes because I made a motion.
Wilkerson.
No.
4 noes, 1 yes, the motion fails. Let Tracy know that if he's still interested, we may have something springing up. It just, the timing just was not right.
I understand that.
Thank him for being willing to come and be with us.
He sounds like a perfect candidate for
Yes.
what's
And he
been
may be
discussed.
interested down the road.
Yeah. But I think more discussion needs on it.
Have I missed anything else on the
Now, when did
agenda?
you say the installation of new council was?
New council members will be sworn in on December 1st here at City Hall at 10 o'clock that
City
evening.
Hall or here?
He probably here in this room.
Tuesday?
It's Tuesday, that's the first.
If Councilman Bennell and Vice Mayor Parker will meet me at the center of the room.
You want to take pictures?
You have dedicated years of your life to this city, and we would like to take this opportunity to say thank you for your hard work and dedication. I know that there's a lot of times we have butted heads, but the city is a better city for it, and we're going to continue to move forward, and things are going to happen. So congratulations to both of you. And thank you for your service.
Can I say one?
Certainly.
It's been a privilege to serve as a city council person. I appreciate the confidence that people put in me 4 years ago. And I'm not going to say all the things we've done, but I'm proud of our accomplishments. And I look in this room here, one of the proudest ones I am. But when somebody comes in, we're proud now. So I encourage the new council that you of course, Brian's been there before, but I want you to do good. If I can ever help you in any way, let me know. I'm not going anywhere. If I can help anywhere, except being a city council, I'm willing to work.
And I echo those comments. It's been a privilege to serve on the council for the last 4 years and to serve the city as recorder for 8 years, giving me a total of 12. But I too am not, our lives are not over. So I'm willing to help out in any way possible with any of the departments within the city. Just because I'm not setting up there doesn't mean I'm going anywhere or vanishing.
I'm not sure I want to ride the trash truck, though. I'm a little older than you are. I may have to draw the line.
You might have got the same answer you got from Amanda if you'd asked me.
Taking pictures right along here. Who's the photographer?
I'll do it.
I'm smiling.
This meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, sir.